Silver. It is Wednesday, May 23rd. I just wanted to say a quick hello to all new viewers and a great welcome back to all returning viewers. If you tuned in last time and waited through this interim and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. So anyway, how have you all been? It's a bit of a up and a down since the last time we talked. Don't worry, I'll explain more of that later in the episode. It has been a little busy in my little corner of my dreamland. So I've got lots to talk to you about, some new segments, some reorganization of older segments, some past sections returning, all new title cards, and some new section tunes courtesy of Ben's Sound Music. So I should probably get started, right? So grab your drink of choice, your knitting, and away we go. So today I'm actually partaking in a nice cup of French vanilla out of my TARDIS mug. Later on I do have a lot of lemon seltzer water to have, so we'll see how the voice holds up after not speaking for almost a week. I'll explain that more later too. So as usual, let me just take a quick drink of my cuppa and we'll get going. First cup in like 2 days, guys. The coffee is needed. Whew. Alright, I'll stop eating Miss Greedy Pants. So, the more you know. So, as I promised last time, we have a couple of drawings going on right now. The first one is for the book Tickled Pink by CC and Dammy Almond. So, just as a gentle reminder, this was a gift of a free copy, hard copy, physical copy of the Tickled Pink book, as well as both the little stitch marker that came with it. So cute. I'll be putting them up on the screen, so don't worry about that. And maybe a couple other goodies, courtesy of yours truly. Now, as a gentle reminder, what the prompt was for this one, what design of CC and Dammy's would you knit first? And what is your favorite moment and or episode title of CC and Dammy on our show Geeky Girls Knit? Now, according to Random Number Generator, the winner of this wonderful prize is post number 5, who is Try Linda on Ravelry. She's actually Linda from Pennsylvania. She wrote, and I'm quoting here, "I'd start with the Thistles and Blooms socks. My favorite episode title was episode 205, in which it's the most epic pom-pom ever." And she says, because I love pom-poms. I have to agree, Linda. That is one of my favorite episodes, too. So congratulations. Please PM me, SilverLuna2112, on Ravelry with your physical address, and I'll send it right out to you. All right. So, if you've been listening to me a while, you've known that I've been recording for almost 2 years. In fact, I'm celebrating my 2-year anniversary on the 30th of May. And to celebrate this, I decided I wanted to change things up a little bit, hopefully for the better. What does this mean for you, my wonderful viewers? More to look at visually, a cleaner theme song. In that vein, both MTI and I have actually been discussing a little less tinny sounding theme song. So I hope you liked the new one at the beginning of this video. Anyway, I hope you will be willing to help me celebrate my 2nd anniversary with me. I have opened up a contest thread on the Silver's Dreamland board on Ravelry. For this contest, I'd like you to simply be a member of the Ravelry group and to enter 2 simple prompts. The first one, just looking through my episode titles, which one is your favorite and why? I'll link all of the show notes with all the lists of my show titles. You can find a link below here on YouTube as well. Alright, and the second thing I want to know is, since I have been doing hashtag SDL movie night on Instagram a lot more this year, I want to know, what is your favorite movie? Who's your favorite actor, actress, and director? You can do all 3 of those, you can do one or the other, it's up to you. I'll be announcing all of mine in the next episode as well, so that way you don't feel left out. Alright, so for answering those simple prompts and being a member of the group. Wonderful skein of West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply sock yarn in the colorway 811, which I have been told is the passion fruit cooler colorway. It's a BFL wool and 25% nylon. Using a random number generator to pick a winner, I'll be actually selecting a winner for this one. I'll be leaving this thread open until Tuesday, June 5th, until about the time I go to bed that night. I'll lock the thread and draw it for a winner early the 6th. Good luck, everyone! So moving on to my favorite things, I have a couple things that came my way in the interim. The first was actually a birthday present from a wonderful, wonderful knitting friend of mine. You know who you are. I won't embarrass you on the air much. Anyway, it came from Love Knitting. I did get a tote bag that says housework is for those that haven't discovered knitting. So true based on the mess that has become my house in the past week. Anyway, what was also in the package was the Knitter's Pride Magma Chart Keeper. I have to say, I have never used a chart keeper before. Most of the time when I do lace knitting, I write it out for myself and then call it good on random pieces of paper, whatever's hanging about, which, yeah. So this will come in handy. There was also a few skeins of yarn in there as well because she knows me so well. These sock yarns are from a Paint Box yarn. The first one is Fair Isle Storybook. You have Pixel Lavender Field, Stripes Wisteria, and Zebra Violet. Oh, guys, these are so super gorgeous. I almost didn't want to put them away. I wanted to use them right away. Simple matter of I have too much on the needles, so I kind of have to wait. I don't wanna. Anyway, the next shipment that came in was from Miss Babs. I had ordered 5 skeins of Yowza to make shawls for a few of my work friends. The colorways that came in that I ordered, one was called Surprisa. Oh, this color. Echo. Another skein of Morticia because she really liked that in my sweater. So, and then I did get 2 skeins of Across the Universe. Guys, these colors are amazing. What do you think? Anyway, the next thing that arrived was from Hugh Loco. I did order a skein of Banana Hoo on her Phyllis sock base. Wow. So awesome, guys. I love this color. Again, another thing I wanted to cast on right away. The other thing that arrived in that package was the Knit 2 Together Yarn Club that Hugh Loco did with the Grocery Girls. I had ordered May, and June should be on its way soonly. So hopefully you've already gotten the May shipment. If you haven't, look away now. You gone? Okay. So what came in there was this wonderful skein of Glitz Sock, which is a base that Hugh Loco does in the colorway Money Cake. Oh my gosh, I love these colors, you guys. Ah! And also what came with it, there was a tote bag with the logo on it, as well as a few little goodies that are awesome. I'll show you so that way you can see them for yourself. So, what else has been tickling my fancy over the past couple weeks? Well, as I mentioned before, it was my birthday, so we did do a little bit in regards to that. I did get a couple of wonderful birthday presents from people at work. The first one I got was a stitch counter bracelet, which I have never seen before and never would have thought to get one for myself. So I'm so glad that Carrie found that for me. Hi, Carrie. I know you don't often listen, but hopefully you hear this one. And she also got me this wonderful card. She totally made my day, and I'll explain more about that later on as well. Another thing that actually tickled my fancy this week was that I had a get together with my brother and sister on my birthday, which was pretty awesome. So my brother, my sister, MPI, and I all got together this past Friday to have dinner at the Olive Garden. as it had been way, way too long since we had gotten together. They let me pick the restaurant again because it was my birthday. We enjoyed some wonderful food, wine, and some other type of alcohol that my sister really liked. I sorry didn't pay attention either. I should have. But there was lots of fun, and catching up was just, we had so much fun. Oh my goodness. Let's just put it this way: every time yeah, let's not go there. Anyway, I also did get a birthday card from my parents. Even though they actually were at my youngest cousin's high school graduation, my parents made sure that I got something for my birthday. It actually made me smile so hard when my sister actually gave it to me at our dinner, which was amazing. That with all of the packing and craziness that my mom was going through to get going and getting on this trip, that she thought of getting a wonderful card. I'll have to show you guys this card is amazing, guys. It's so young and youthful, and I totally needed it. All right, so I did manage to finish something over the interim, guys. It's kind of an epic FO, if I'm gonna be honest. Remember that blanket that I was making for a coworker's daughter? Well, I finished it. This was the project that I called a spiked punch basket blanket. Oh, I will say that 10 times fast, right? So I did use a pattern that I created based on a stitch pattern that I really had fallen in love with when I was younger, and decided to put it into a blanket at that point. The pattern, I called it simply basket weave baby blanket, which is, I love this pattern, guys. It's perfect. You can adapt it for any size, really. I'll link to it as well in the show notes. But yeah, anyway, so I used 2.5 skeins of Miss Babs Yowza skeins in the spiked punch colorway. Ugh, guys, it came out so awesome. I still can't believe it. And I've already given it to her, so it's not like I have it handy. Anyway, I did use a size US 9, which is a 5.5 millimeter marbles needles. Sorry, I love these guys. I love those needles. You'll see later on why I'm saying that. Oh yes, and speaking of things I finished, I have 3 hose, guys. Can you believe this? 3 hose. And actually 2 of them are literally now waiting on the last little bit of ribbing on the second sock, and they're put into stash hiatus. Now, if you haven't, heard of stash dash, where have you been living? I've discussed this several times. Anyway, basically what stash dash is, you can actually have as, use all your whips, finish up all, your whips, as much stash essentially as you can throughout the course of the summer. But I digress. The first one that's actually just literally waiting for ripping, like I mentioned before, is what I'm calling Embers Up. This is actually a vanilla sock pattern with an eye of partridge heel that I'm kind of playing around with some numbers and trying to figure out what fits best for my heel, because I'm very picky. Very, very picky. Anyway, I am using Redbird Yarn Studios Simple Sock in their Ember colorway. Oh, I love this. This is a self-stripy yarn. Essentially, when I was knitting it up, I thought, duh bears, the whole time. Anyway, I am knitting these, or I knitted these on a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter, 9-inch circulars, and actually a set of 2 16-inch circulars for the toes, heels, and cuffs on this one. This one is actually currently still being housed in my stained glass Zelda topped by Slip Stitch Studios. I love the bag too, guys. I can't help it. The second thing that is actually just waiting for ribbing is what I'm simply calling May DVD socks. I have been using a pattern called the OMG Heel by Megan Williams of the Stock Knit Zombies. As you do. I've been wanting to get to this heel for a while and try it out. So far, I love it. I have a couple more months of it, so You better love it, right? Anyway, so I'm also knitting this one on a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter, both the 9-inch circulars and the two 16-inch circulars for the heels, toes, and cuffs. This month I did choose Desert Vista Dye Works Viso in their Happy Birthday Cupcake colorway, because the birthday month. Anyway, this one is actually being housed in my Beauty and the Beast stained glass bag by Molly Klein Designs. Can you tell there's kind of a theme with the ones that are monthly, right? Anyway, so I did also finish a first sock of what I am calling cotton candy sock blank socks. So far with the second sock, I'm about midway through the foot. As you can see. Oh, amazing. This one actually is not a specific pattern. It is the vanilla sock with an Eye of Partridge heel. The numbers are based off, the heel itself is actually based off of a Wendy D. Johnson pattern that I've been using for a while, but I've kind of adopted it to kind of fit my heel better. So there it is. There you go, I admit it. Anyway, this yarn that I'm using for this particular sock is actually Gail's Art Single Sock Blank in the pink and blue abstract colors. Oh, I love the way that it's actually knitting up. It's knitting up kind of like you would expect Carnival Cotton Candy to do. Amazing. I love it. I can't help it. Since it is a sock blank, I did feel like I needed to go up to a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter, both a 9-inch circular and two 16-inch circs on the heels, toes, and cuffs as well. Now, like I said, it is a sock blank, so instead of just wishing and hoping that the sock blank doesn't go flying as I'm knitting, I actually have this housed in a Ziploc bag for the moment. It might change, but knowing the way I knit, not gonna happen. Alrighty, let us move on to works in progress, what I have on my needles. The first one is actually a new item since the last time we spoke, because, cast on all the things. Anyway, this pattern, or this project, I'm calling Baz Shawl number 1, because I do have a set of 2 shawls that I am making for a coworker of mine. And then there's another one that's coming up that's going to be for another coworker, because wonderful people I will do anything for. The pattern that I'm using on all 3 of those shawls will actually be the Yowza Weighted Shawl number 2 by Susan B. Anderson, because I love this pattern, and the 2 of them have definitely been eyeballing another coworker's shawl, so it'll be fun. The yarn I'm actually using is Miss Babs Yowza, but of course, the first colorway on number 1 is going to be Spiked Punch. The other colorway is going to be Morticia, which is amazing. I love that combination. It's very subtly purple in the Morticia colorway, so it kind of works with the variegation. I love it. Sorry, I can't. I'm patting myself on the back for my yarn choices right now. Sorry. So with these shawls, I am going to be using a size US 9, which is a 5.0 millimeter marbles needles. I think I'm incorrect on that one, but I think it's a 5.5, believe it or not. Yes, 5.5. Oy. Okay, let me change that in my podcast notes. Sorry, while I'm distracted here. Anyway, I digress. This is actually being housed in my Outlander bag by the knitted broomstick until it gets to be too big to fit in there, and then unfortunately I'll have to move it up to a bigger bag, but sorry. Alrighty, so besides the new whip, I do have several things that I've been working on. The first is actually a crochet blanket I simply called Stripey Heart. This pattern is going to be the Granny Stripes pattern by Lucy of Attic 24. I am using miscellaneous red heart scraps I'll have a majority of them listed on my project page, but as they are scraps that I've had for since I started knitting, that I have just been holding on to and hoarding, like the, yarn hoarding monster that I have become. But basically, some of them have their ball bands have been long since misplaced. I'll do my best to match them all up as I go, but meh, it's not even that serious. Anyway, I am using a K-hook, which is a 6.5 millimeter, which is awesome, and I love the way that it's crocheting up. The bag itself is actually being housed in my Geeky Girls Knit large tote bag that I got from CC and Dammy when they had their last Podiversary kit that they did. Oh, I love this bag, guys, and it fits pretty snugly. It's big enough right now because it's gonna be a couch blanket for somebody. I won't say who. And it's just about too big for the bag. Sad panda. Anyway, the next thing that I have been working on, I am calling simply Rhapsody in Socks. This is a toe-up socks with a difference by Wendy D. Johnson pattern. I am using Lolo Did It Everyday Socks in her Bohemian Rhapsody colorway. I love the way that this is knitting up, guys, and I'm sure my recipient for the holidays will absolutely adore them. This is being knit on a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter needle on 9-inch circulars, as well as the 2 16-inch circular method on the heels, toes, and cuffs, because as you do. This is actually being housed in my Purple Bird Top by Slip Stitch Studios. Guys, I love it. The next thing that has gotten a little bit of love this week is what I called Whispering Amira. The pattern on this one is called Amira by Renee Miller. Sorry, correct spelling will be in the show notes as well, so that way you can follow. I love this pattern, guys. I want to finish this top because it's a summer garment. I want to finish this top by the time I go to SSK, so wish me luck. I'm actually knitting this on I'm using actually so I am using Knit Picks Cotton in the Whisper colorway, which is an awesome purple colorway, guys. I love it. This is a mix of cotton and linen. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to get back to it. I am knitting this project on a size US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter, and a US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter marbles needles. Love that. This garment is actually knit in multiple pieces, so it'll be the first time piecing together a proper garment, so we'll see how it goes. This one is actually being housed in my blue TARDIS bag by Addicted to Sock Knitting. Oh, I love it. I'm looking over at it right now and longingly. Anyway, so there has been a project that has been on my needles for over 2 years at this point, that did get quite a bit of love this week. I'm calling it simply Tried and True. The pattern itself was the Trillion by Martina Bay. I am using Woolmize Pure in the Zavro und Rossi colorway. I think I am saying that right. I have no idea. It'll be down below. That way you can see it on the video. This is actually being knit on a 40-inch Knitter's Pride Dreams needles in the size US 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter needles. Oh. And it is actually being housed in my pink teapot bag by the Knitted Broomstick. I'm hoping to finish this particular project during Stash Dash this year, because I said I was going to try to do it last year as well. Honestly, I am at about 130 stitches out of 191. If you've done the pattern, you know what I'm talking about. I won't say any more other than it just increases until that point. So it might take me a little bit. Here's hoping, though. The next thing that did get quite a bit of love, and that's actually in the past couple days too, to be honest, is what I am calling I Literally Can't Even, with a smiley face at the end, because as you do. The pattern on this one is the Tracy by Joji Locatelli. I am using two different colorways. They're kind of purplish colors, so they coordinated pretty well. The first one was Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock Lightweight in the KMBFLA, and the second one is Owl About Yarn in her Sparkle Owl base, sorry, and the colorway is called GGK Turns 5, because again, this came to me for a Podversary kit. Anyway, love the colorway. And this one is actually being knit on a size US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter marble silks as well. And this is for now being hosted in my Black Jack Skellington bag by Molly Klein Designs. And I say for now because it is getting too large for that bag. Ugh, which is unfortunate because I love that bag. Anyway, the next thing that did get a little bit of love, and what I'm actually currently working on as we chat today, is what I'm calling Jody, we're podcasting. This pattern is the Jody by Hohi Locatelli, because you can't do one sister's shawl without doing another, because it wouldn't be fair. This particular pattern I am knitting I am using a couple of colorways from a Nice and Knit Fingering, which is a local to me indie dyer. So in three of their wonderful colorways. The first one that I'm using is called Driftwood. That's the first color. The second color will actually be Canal, which is a variegated blue, and there's a variegated purple called Vineyard that I'm going to use down the line as well, because it's a 3-color shawl, and I bought the yarn specifically at a knit night for the shawl. I'm actually knitting this on a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter marble silks as well. I love these green needles, guys. I'm green with envy for these needles. No, I'm just teasing. Anyway, this is actually being housed in my orange gothic bag, as I'm calling it, by the Knitted Broomstick, because that's how I find my bags. I'm like, hey NCI, can you help me find this particular bag? And it's easier for him if I label them all with a name. Don't worry about it. I digress. And so the last thing that did get a fair amount of love, not a lot, mind you, but a fair amount of love, is what I am calling We've Got Mars on the Horizon. This is the Worsted Boxy by Hohi Locatelli. I am using Miss Babs Yowza in the Seductress colorway, which is a nice red color. I love this color. This is actually being knit on a US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter marble silks as well. I love it. Right now I have finished the front part of the piece, and I am working on the back stockinette section, so I haven't really gotten too much into that. Well, I'm hoping to finish this one as part of Stash Dash as well, hopefully, because it'll get me a lot of yardage. Anyway, for now, this is actually being semi-housed in my Blue TARDIS bag by the Knitted Broomstick. And I say somewhat housed because the yarn is in it, but the project is sitting on top of the bag, because it's a little big right now. Oh, goodness. Alright, so I've decided to revamp this next section and call it Silver's Unraveling Fast. Essentially, this is any time that my knitting has attacked or a project just didn't quite work and I had to go ahead and rip it out for various reasonings. So I've actually made the decision this past week that I didn't quite like how the stripy sequence of the Desert Vista Dye Works yarns was working in my Scraptastic DVD project. And I didn't like how it was just hooking up, if you will, in the blanket. Plus the fact that I think I didn't quite pick up correctly when I started the granny stripe pattern of it. So when I finally got to the third row, I noticed that the fabric wasn't quite straight. In fact, it was very lumpy and bumpy. And it was very apparent from the time that I took the photo the last time. Honestly, it was really driving me crazy. I'll show you why. See, look, it's kind of crazy. But I think I found another pattern that I might like better for now for it. Who knows? I say for now because I may still change my mind down the road. It's not like I don't have the time to decide, right? This blanket is going to be a long-term project. even this morning I was thinking, what if I were to do it in a 10 stripe blanket? Would I like the pattern sequence better? Therein lies my madness, y'all. But for now, the pattern that I'm going to be using is Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth by Ruth Slate. I will be using, like I mentioned, miscellaneous Desert Vista dyework scraps for the socks that I finished. I'll have a full list on my project page so that way you can see it. I needed a way to use up all of the scraps from the different socks that I'm making throughout the year. I've started on the first colorway being Winnie the Pooh, which was a sock I did last year, I think. I'll have a few more as we go. I am on this one using a size 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter Chai-Gu circulars as well. So that way I can kind of grow the project, if you will. Anyway, I am actually housing this for now in my coffee bag by Molly Klein Designs. Like I said, for now, because it's not quite big enough that it fits in a large size tote bag. We'll see how that one goes, right? Alrighty, let's move on to Radio Gaga. You see what I did there? Anyway, this is actually where I'm going to start talking about what I've been listening to, mostly because I realized I like listening to music, and I'm sure you guys would like to hear what I've been listening to as a separate category. So there we go. I have to say, I've been busy based on what I have written here. But then again, it has been 3 weeks, so how am I really that surprised, right? As always, in my car, I do tend to listen to a few albums, and that's it, because the time between home and work is about that same time for this album. Anyway, I do sometimes listen to 99.1 PLR, which, like I said before, is a station out of New Haven, Connecticut. Oh, I love them. Classic rock. They do repeat a bit, but that's radio for you. I also, in my car, tend to listen to the Hamilton soundtrack a lot, as well as Metallica's Ride the Lightning, because it's just easier to have it in the music selection. I also do listen to Poison's Greatest Hits album, which is actually stuck in Empty Ice car. So there you go. Because I take his car to work sometimes, especially during the holidays. Whatever car's in the back. You know how that goes, right? You have 2 cars, you just don't feel like switching, you just take the other car, whatever. Anyway, I digress. So over the past couple days, I've actually been listening to a lot more music on my iTunes, which is a lot of miscellaneous music. I have been listening to some Lady Gaga, but of course some Pink. Metallica's Master of Puppets, and Some Kind of Monster albums, which happen to be my 2 favorite, actually, by Metallica, if I'm being completely honest. I've also been catching up a lot on some audio podcasts, mostly because I missed a couple of weeks here and there, especially with the Mother's Day rush that was going on at work. Yeah. I didn't feel like doing anything when I got home those nights. But anyway, I have completely caught up with the Knitmore Girls. Somehow, I just got 4 episodes behind. But trust me, I made sure to fix that real quick this weekend. Trust me. I've also caught up with Innes Knit. She had an episode back early in May, as well as the one from a couple days ago. So, woohoo! I also, for some odd reason, was very behind on Wine and Crime. Not only was I like 3 weeks behind, I also had missed a lot of the drunk dives and things that they had been putting up on their Patreon page. Oh, guys, so worth being patrons of them just to hear the drunk dives, 'cause it's amazing. But anyway, so I made sure I caught up on all of that as well, because as you do. And the last thing, and the last podcast that I was actually catching myself up on was Is This Adulting? I was about 4 weeks behind in them as well. I listened to all of their Patreon stuff too. And honestly, I didn't even think I was as far behind as I was. Oops. But yeah, I've got myself caught up, like I said. All right, let's move on to Silver's book pile. Essentially, this is the same as what you're reading. I just figured new name as we're going into the next year, right? Anyway, I have finished 6 books, guys. um, None of them got really good reviews on Goodreads. There was one that was a 4-star and the rest of them are below. Anyway, I did finish Charmed by the Bartender by Piper Rain, Unrequited by Melody Grace. I did Beautifully Wounded. I actually read again for the second time. I didn't realize until I was almost done with the book. Oops. This one is by Susan Grissom. And the next one was called Simply Thrust by Mia West, which is a male romance, so that's not your thing. Don't worry about it. I also finished Alpha Mated by Mac Flynn, and To Be His, it's by Terry L. Austin. That one I literally just finished maybe mid-afternoon yesterday. And then what I'm actually listening to is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I love this book, you guys. Oh, amazing. Like I said, I'm at a point where Atlanta is falling. If you haven't read the book, well, spoilers. But yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother issue altogether. Alrighty, let us move on to Silver and the Case of the Screen Time, also known as What You Watching. Quite a bit is the short end of it. So in terms of TV, I've actually found on Netflix a series called Elevator. I've been watching. I love the Twisted Twins, I have to say. They're unbelievably awesome. The show was on Game Show Network for a little while. I've blown past season 1. I am about 3 episodes into season 2, and I can't wait for more. I just love their witty humor, and I sit there and I laugh at how, like, stupidly scared these people get. They're jumping at their own shadows half the time. Like, it's not that hard. Just walk to the end of the hallway. Keep in the light. I mean, come on, it's not that hard. Anyway, I love how these 2 women, tend to scare their victims with the silliest things. And I love it. And sometimes more like the men of the group are the most scared, and I love it. Anyway, so I digress a little bit. The second series that I've been trying to catch up on is Outlander. I've watched season 1. I am into episode 1 of season 2. I haven't gotten very far. I'm still trying to continue on my little thing of trying to get through all 3 seasons and listen to the coordinating podcast episode that Ronald D. Moore has up on iTunes to kind of coordinate with that and learn back, because I'm a film geek. I really like learning about what happens on the back end of things. But y'all knew that, right? So as to podcasts I watched in the interim, like I said, I was very behind. So here is what I finally caught up with since the last time we talked. I have actually finished binge watching Dramatic Knits, because that was part of the reason why I was so behind on everything else. I really, really loved being able to catch up with Stephen Calley. Wow, sorry. Blanked on the name for a minute. I am so sorry, Cal. Anyway, I just finished their new episode. This was Sans Callie, but it did have Steve's sister in it. I loved meeting her. Unbelievably awesome. I love the chemistry. She was trying to be behaved on the camera, but I know she's got a stubborn streak like her brother. Anyway, I'm talking about things I really don't know, right? The next thing that I ended up watching was several episodes of the Knit Girls, caught up on Round the Twist. Love her shorter episodes, and I love that she's got a friend helping her out with watching her kiddos so that she can do more crafting, which is awesome. Let's see. The books had an episode about a month ago at this point. I kept meaning to go back. No excuses. Anyway, I was behind on Tea and Possibilities. I watched 2 episodes. Speaking of which, she's got another one coming out this week. And the Grocery Girls had their episode. Stitching the High Notes had several. I caught up on, as well as the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. Oi! All of my favorites had at least 2 episodes I had to catch up on. What is with that, right? Thank you. I need to take a drink. All right. I managed to watch a lot of movies since Thursday. Yeah, since Thursday when I got home from work. I started off with A Cinderella Story, which is Once Upon a Song. It's a Cinderella story anyway. I also watched a movie called Nancy Drew, The Perfect Romance, Christmas Inheritance, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Mamma Mia, After the Ball, My Perfect Romance, A Christmas Prince, and there was also a French version of Beauty and the Beast that I found. It was badly dubbed into English, but it was a really good story and I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would. It's unbelievable. It's a better take on the Beauty and the Beast story than Disney would ever think of. And I'm going to go out and say that. Anyway, I also watched a movie called The Decoy Bride, Coffee Shop, and then the last one was Heart of the Country. All of those movies can be found on Netflix, so if they sound like they would be your cup of tea, a lot of them are rom-coms. There were some that were tearjerkers, so if that's not your thing, kind of look at the description and you'll know for sure. It's been a weird week in terms of what I've been watching. But anyway, I did watch some other videos as well. Steve from Is This Adulting and Amanda from Wine and Crime got at 2 Bananas tattoos about a week ago now. They recorded it, so I watched those videos on Facebook. Unbelievably awesome that they were that the artist, the tattoo artist, was willing to be on film too. So we have to give him his props for that one. So both of these people were also at CrimeCon, what is it, last weekend now, and recorded a bit as well. So I watched those live videos as well, cause yeah. I also watched the 24. I also watched the 48-hour episode titled Grapes of Wrath because Wine and Crime made me do it. That episode itself was something that they discussed in, I believe, one of their live episodes, and I wanted to know a little bit more about that case, so yay! So, X's and O's. I've been also writing a bit over the past couple weeks. I've been posting a few blog posts, to be honest, on my personal blog, which is dreamysilver2112.com. Some of the FOs that I mentioned above made an appearance in some posts. I've also, because I was a little bit behind, I've also wrote a little bit more about what I've been reading. I still have to update a few more posts, so just be on the lookout for that. And I wrote a post about my stash goals and what I hope to finish. I'll actually be linking to my blog in the show notes if you care to come by and see what I've been up to. Besides blog posts, though, I have been dreaming about getting back to writing the book that I've been kind of in progress with for several years. I hope to turn it into a series, which is why I haven't, started publication process for it. I want to have the whole product done. I'm one of those. I'll have to see just how much I get done in the next week with the start of Stash Dash on Friday, and yeah. So wish me luck. Alright, so now that I've gone through my usual segments, I'm going to bring back a segment that it's its second time premiering on the podcast. So if you're a if you're a longtime viewer, you've probably heard this section before. If you are new, you probably will not have. I'm calling this simply Real Talk. This is where I talk about mental health issues, especially in my life, and just anything else that I have been, really meaning to get down and real with y'all about. So and sorry, if you don't really care, you can always skip ahead to the next segment. I'll put down below. I will put a timestamp so that way you can jump right there if you would like. I don't blame you if you don't really care. But anyway, so if you haven't really been following me on social media or haven't really gotten the gist from that, I've been having a very crappy week. Essentially, on Thursday, we got word that our entire call center was closing, which means that every single one of us, and that includes the supervisors on staff, that we were all going to be fired. And we all were, essentially, in different waves. What's happening is that there was a couple of groups of people leaving on Thursday, on Friday some more, and then there are about, I'd say, under 10 people remaining until June 29th, when the new call center that they have is opening down in Atlanta. I don't agree with this decision whatsoever. I've essentially... I'm really, really mad, to the point where I felt like and how do I word this? I'm just very disappointed in the person that runs the company, for allowing this decision to go through, based on how much how he says that he likes the people that he works with and things like that, and how he respects people and this and this and the other thing. And I'm rambling, and honestly, you need to hear this. This is pretty much off the cuff. I did not write this into my notes except for the basics. I'm trying so hard not to be mad at this company anymore, and just focused on the people that also got fired with me. I do feel bad for those that were very blindsided by this decision, especially the supervisors that were told pretty much right before they had to start firing people, minus one who knew a lot longer. Won't go into names, yada yada yada. But anyway, Thursday after I got home, my first order of business was to go ahead and open up a Facebook group for all the people that I used to work with, all my coworkers and everybody that's still there, that's I consider a friend, to come into the group and vent a little bit, but also to network and figure out our next moves when it comes to jobs, and just basically to love on each other. And we've become like family, to be honest. Ever since I've been there, we've been slowly becoming more like family, and I can't sometimes. I miss these guys and so much. Essentially, we were trying to keep our family together and keep each other, kind of motivated to do what we need to do for our next step. Unfortunately, as the admin of the group, the person that created the group, I've been liable for making some very tough decisions, and a lot of people aren't happy with me, to be honest. But honestly, if they brought the negativity into the group, that's something that I had to say, hey, you need to stop. And now, with this group of friends, there are very positive people that are in the group that are doing what I asked them to do, and not to be hateful and spiteful. But there are the rare exceptions that have really gotten my gullet. I am to the point where I don't want to be in that group anymore because I feel like I am being bullied by these couple of individuals. I've asked them several times at this point to stop posting the hateful stuff. Yes, we're all mad. And yes, I'm pissed too. Trust me on that. I'm pissed. And there I said it. I'm sorry if you have little ones around, but honestly, I am so super mad at how we were all treated. I have gotten to the point where I don't want to be mad anymore. And I've asked people that are still mad and still posting things. I do. I love them all like family. I respect them as individuals, but sometimes I feel like I'm dealing with 2-year-olds who just found social media for the first time. Isn't social media wonderful? Sometimes I don't know. Like I have gotten to the point where I don't want to deal with stuff in that group anymore. I've stepped away. They can continue to be their negative selves, and I will let the other admins in the group that I have put in place to go ahead and be the heavy on those situations, because I'm told I'm done. I'm just done with it. Nothing but love for everyone. I said a lot of why I'm so angry is because of how sad and how hurt everyone is, because I really love these ladies and gents too, but mostly ladies that all got the axe all at once. And yeah, I'm sad for them all. So I'm actually dedicating this episode to all of my coworkers that now find themselves without a job. Yeah. I have said over and over again that I respect y'all and I love y'all. I need to move on. I do. So in that vein, and the reason that I came to this decision was I had a sleepless night on Monday. Completely sleepless. I was up until about 8 o'clock in the morning when finally I was able to calm myself down to go to bed. Mostly because of the negative feedback and every negative comment that has been hitting me, and people that have been trying to bully me as the admin who has to follow Facebook's rules of, no bullying and, no hate speech and whatnot, all that bull crap. But yeah, I feel like there are certain individuals that went on the attack, and honestly, I've already been holding on by a thread, to be honest, in this whole thing. Mostly because my anger takes me to some unbelievable heights and lows, and it triggered another large depressive moment on Monday as well. So not only did I not sleep, I was sitting there and dealing with a lot of mini panic attacks most of the night. Yeah, I just can't. Anyway, so essentially this week alone has been, I feel like I've been riding a roller coaster for most of it. Yeah. I mean, I'm better today, don't get me wrong, because I've been making myself sleep at least a minimum of 7 hours, but I don't know. And a lot of my roller coaster ride was watching a lot more movies to kind of get my mind out of the depressive gutter that I find myself in. I hope I'll be able just to get out today after I finish recording and just kind of enjoy the sunshine a little bit, get my mojo back. But I hope all of my coworkers understand, especially with all the negative stuff going on in the group, that if I don't post very often, you respect my wishes and not put up all of the hatred that you have for this particular company right now. Trust me, I understand anger. Don't get me wrong. Trust me, I understand everyone was blindsided. I understand. I ask, and I'm imploring in vocal form instead of just type. Hopefully, you'll hear my voice breaking and understand. I do not want to see any more hate speech. I know you're angry at the individual that runs the company. I understand. It's time we moved on. I have nothing but love for y'all. I've said this several times, even in this segment. I love you all like family, and like my own family in real life. Y'all drive me crazy. Ugh. Okay, now that I've done that, goodness. All right, before I start babbling again, I've been going on for 11 minutes about this. Anyway, it's kind of cathartic. Anyway, let me move on to the end of the road. Yes, I know, I'm crazy. All right, so I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable. I do appreciate you sticking with me to the end, and for listening to my real talk. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah. So, just so you know, please feel free to join in any discussion or start your own on the Silver Streamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise. If you wouldn't mind, and really would like to see, I did include a clip of the crazy storm that happened last Tuesday. From start to finish. Be aware the audio on that is not as crisp as during the normal episodes. My camera microphone is not, it's not as awesome as this Meteor mic that I normally use to record. But I kind of told a story as I went, so that will be right following the credits, so you know. Just please, and like I said, please stay tuned for episode 47 on the 30th. Until next time, happy crafting. Seriously, this sky just freaking darkened this fast in like 2 minutes. Some wild thunderstorms going on tonight. Ruh-roh. I'd say we got about 20 minutes until it's fully over us, but holy moly. It's going from all the way over here. Sorry if I'm making you motion sickness, but you can see how light it used to be over there. Update. The wind just kicked up quite a bit. They said we're supposed to have, like, I don't know, pretty bad thunderstorm. Enough that MTI got sent home, so I will see you on the flip side. Sorry about the screen in the way, but got one pocket of really, really light and way too dark everywhere else. Not awesome. I know, I'm such a geek that I love this. MTI just keeps laughing at me. I don't know if you can all see it. There's a lot of lightning going on right now, which is pretty creepy. Oh my goodness. You would think I was like Helen Hunt or something. Start going after twisters. This excites me. That's not my camera flickering, y'all. That's the lightning going on right now. That's insane. And this just in from MTI. Apparently people are outside watching it. Crazy asses. What is this sorcery? What is this sorcery? It starts to rain, and look how light it gets again. I don't understand. Like, it's been raining for under like 10 seconds, and we've got a puddle right there already. I can't even. You can almost see it raining. There it is. And look, there's a puddle. I can't even with this rain. Why can park now? It is park away. It's still raining. I'm eating an Oreo. Sorry.